Well, hello there. I am just so nuts that I went ahead and I got my art room ready. And I wanted to give you guys a tour. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, Stevens, you're stressing me out. We don't have school until some of you guys don't have school for another month. Well, we go back August 1st. And I honestly only wanted to spend one day getting my room ready and then just enjoying the rest of the summer. And I decided to do it a little bit early ish, mid July, because then it's not like hanging over me. I am all about procrastinating and putting things off, but I just can't seem to relax during my summer knowing that I have this big daunting task of getting my room ready hanging over my head. So I decided to come in and kind of knock it out in one day. I promised myself I'd only do it in one day, and then whatever didn't get done, oh well, which means that my closets are an absolute nightmare. So while I am showing you around the place, I will not be showing you my closets or my cabinets. And I do have like a couple of random tables filled with stuff that I still have to do, but you know what? It's fine. It can wait. The room looks good enough for me to walk in right now with children's and get to teaching, and that's all I wanted to accomplish. So, with that being said, I thought I would take you on a little bit of a tour around the place. So this is the door where my students enter. I actually have two doors that exit out into the hallway. This is just the one that we always use for kids to come in and out of my art room. So this is the door where they enter. I always greet my students at the door. There's a long line of tape outside my door where they know to line up. And I even have a sign outside my door to greet them or to greet anybody who wants to come in and visit. And it simply says, "Come in, we are amazing." And the reason I have that is because when I greet my students at the door, I greet them with a "Hello, my most amazing artist," and they respond with "Hello, my most amazing art teacher." It's pretty awesome. So this is where my students not only come in, but this is where they also exit. And a while back, I created this sign because when they leave, I give them a little sign language, "I love you," and I just want this to serve as a reminder. On my good days, I read it to them and I let them know that I believe in them and that they amaze me. I also, right here, have my smartest artist. This is where, if we ever have time, we play a little game called The Smartest Artist. You can find out details of that on my blog. We use that dry erase board just to keep score of the Smartest Artist game. It's a lot of fun. It's a great wrap up. When we have time, we get to that. This right here is also my masterpiece gallery. I actually have two kind of masterpiece galleries because this one was just getting overrun with masterpieces. But it's anytime a kid draws something for me, they can bring it in and share. Another view of that masterpiece gallery to give you a better idea. This window looks into my office and there's nothing to see in there except a mess. So my very first year here, millions of years ago, I painted that stained glass look because we actually had like a medieval theme, and then I just left it. These frames that you see are from Goodwill, and I simply backed them with cork and covered them with felt so that I could push pin the kids' artwork too. A frame shop also was going out of business and allowed me to get a lot of fun frames. Also here, I like to keep my reference books, children's books, and things that I like to keep on hand. Of course, random stacks of messy papers that need to be cleared out. You get the idea. That little pink mailbox right there is actually where kids put mail for me to hang in the masterpiece gallery. And I also, outside of my classroom door, have something called the clipboard gallery, which you can also find details about that on my blog. Kids are seated on the floor. I go over my art rules, which are on the right-hand side that you see. You can download those on my blog. They're a free downloadable PDF. And we go over those. I painted that color wheel oars a long time ago from just oars I found at Michael's, and just a bunch of random signs. I also went ahead and painted my art class catchphrase. When my students come to my room, they say a catchphrase, and it is right here. I make messes, I make mistakes, but deep inside, I got what it takes. I am an artist. I also have hanging up so they can see my why, because I want them to know why I teach them art, as well as just other things that I've made. My tints and shade sign, my color families, all of these kind of things. If you're curious about how I made them, just search my name and also search whatever it is you're looking for and it will pop up. Basically, if it's in my room, I got a tutorial for it. So this is my instructional area of my room where the kids always walk in and sit down immediately. Oh, one thing I forgot to point out over here is look what we have learned today, my early finishers, which I'll talk about that if I have enough time in this video. When they finish early, they have to write about something they learned today on a Post-it note and just pop it over there on the board. I've talked a lot about having art teachers in training in my room. You can find out tons more about that on my blog. And then here is the area that I call the store. The store is basically where my students go to gather their supplies. And it's just a cafeteria style table. And you can see I've got the grade levels, that K 1, 2, 3, 4 above the table. The table is currently just loaded with stuff that I need to work on, things I need to hang and whatnot. But on that table is my supply gathering table where my kids go and grab things. Above the table is my art teacher and art gallery. So a bunch of fun things that other art teachers have made for me or I've bought and or have sent my way. So from there, my kids then go to their seats. So let's see if I can pan you around. My counter is actually clean for once. That's the only reason I'm able to do a video. And these are my color-coded tables. Yeah, I'm going to back up so you can get a better view. The paper on the table doesn't last very long, and I eventually get tired of changing it out. It gets kind of wasteful in my mind. So what we ultimately do in the end is I just take duct tape and put that around the edges of the table, and that helps to provide a color so the kids can see their table color. The other thing that I found in my storage closet was that I had messy mats or tag board. That's that other paper you see. We use messy mats in my room all day long. I just happened to find in my storage closet that I had colorful messy mats. So just for an extra pop of color, I added those. Those caddies on my table, the only things I keep in them are pencils, scissors, and erasers. Those are the only things I keep on my tables. The other things can be found back here. I also have little caddies right over here that you can see that kids can go and collect as needed. The spaces in between the table and between that red and orange table that you see right there, I have those Target metal Target metal caddies that IKEA also sells that are really popular. Those will go right there also. I just need to finish spray painting them. In my mind, I don't have to have everything out and ready. Sometimes that can be really overwhelming for my students. So a lot of times I just kind of ease them into the supplies and ease adding more and more components to my art room. There's a lot of routines that have to be covered at the beginning of the year. I don't want to cover each and every one of them because they're never going to remember them. So that's why we start really simple and then I just start layering on more routines into my art room. Yes, I do have a drum set with a disco ball above it. This is probably my students' most favorite thing in my entire art room. These are the cleanup drums on the very first days of school. I teach the kids I don't know how to play drums, by the way. I do know how to play something called a fill. So on that very first day of school, I teach every kid how to play a fill. It sounds like this. Da 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 da. Now you know what a fill is. I teach all of them how to play that, and then every one of them has a turn. That way, if and when they are chosen to play the cleanup drums, which I choose based on awesome behavior during art class, they know to go over there, grab the sticks from the creepy head with all the faces on it, and hold the sticks correctly, sit on the drum throne, and play the drums. We also have something called a cleanup gong that I'll show you in a moment. I love to sit and read to the kids while they're working. So my favorite things to read are Aesop's Fables, Shel Silverstein, and Choose Your Own Adventure books. I like to do it with the microphone, dim the lights. It adds just a little bit of ambiance to the room, and my students really, really enjoy it. I loved being read to in class as a kid, and so I try to do that when I can, aside from just picture books. I try to do that while they're working. So yeah, that's how my tables are set up. Like I said, they only have a few supplies on their tables, but that's because eventually they learn right away where to gather them, which is, the store over here, which is a disaster. But then eventually they'll have the supply caddies in between their tables. And these caddies over here behind the drums are also, if you can see in those baskets, there are oil pastels, Sharpies. They're also labeled by color table so the kids know where theirs are to go and grab them.